Hey, Jumping in Life's Math and History, and we are gonna look at addition and subtraction properties in geometry. So, when you learn mathematics as a young child, addition and subtraction is one of the first things that you learn after you can count from numbers 1 to 10, or possibly like numbers 1 to 20. But there is an addition and subtraction property when it comes to geometry. When you are solving proofs or trying to come to a conclusion, you will want to find something that will make you want to continue more and more and more. Like this proof is going to deliver it and understand it will bring you to that proof, which will bring you to that proof, to this, to that. You want to keep going until you get to your answer, which is proving or concluding something. Here's an example. So when we take a look at the addition property, there is something that we're looking at. If a segment is added to two congruent segments or angles, the sums can be congruent. So the problem we're going to show you can actually explain that with pictures. And we're actually going to use the addition property. So, given segment HA is congruent or the same as segment MD. The first thing you probably might do is guess what the conclusion is. And when I tried this on other people, they said that point A and point M are segment trisectors. However, there is no line right here saying that this is congruent to that, which is congruent to that. These two are congruent because it was literally given to us. We don't know for sure that A and N as points, AN as a segment is the same distance with HA and ND. What we can say is, if we wanted to find another conclusion about this, we can say that since these two are congruent, the distance between HA and also the distance between AD are congruent. The reason why is, even though we don't understand what that is, let's say we're going to put the variable for x and say that HA is 10, and we're also going to say that ND is also 10, since they're both congruent. If we did 10 plus x, it's going to be the same thing as 10 plus x. Let's put a number here to insert for x. 10 plus 3 is 13. HN is 13 units. And D, 10 plus 3 is 13. And D, AD is 13 units. So we can say that our conclusion is that we found out that HM as a segment is going to be congruent to AD as a segment. And that can definitely explain if a segment is added to two congruent segments or angles, the sums are congruent. So we have now learned the addition property. If you are learning a proof, or if you wanted to state this as a proof, you would just say in your reasons, addition property. So that is the addition property. In addition about that, let's learn about the subtraction property. So in this case scenario, it's stating if a segment or angle is subtracted by congruent segments or angles, comma, the differences can be congruent. So with the picture in mind, we can definitely demonstrate it. Here's an example. If angle A and G is congruent to L and E, what can we conclude about that? So angle ANG and LNE is congruent. So instead of the addition property having to come in play, we'll have to do the subtraction property. So we can definitely say ANG and LNE are congruent. So we're saying that A and L can be an angle added up with L and G. We can also say for L and E that here and G and E can be an angle along with L and G. So what we can say about this is if we're subtracting that and these two are congruent, we can say that angle, here's our conclusion, angle ANL is going to be congruent. It's going to be congruent with the angle G and E. So angle ANL is going to be congruent with G and E because these two are congruent. And if this and this make up A and G, and this make NLE, right here is our answer. If you wanted to do a proof, or if you wanted to understand your reason, we would say subtraction property. The reason why you say subtraction property is on a proof, your teacher will understand automatically how you got to that answer. And that concludes the video. If you are confused about the difference between addition and subtraction properties, well, here is what else we can say. So, you would use addition property if the conclusion answer is greater than your given statement. Here's an example. In the first part of the video, we said that this HA is congruent with ND. Our conclusion is HM is congruent with AD. So these two, if this and that is congruent, we're going to say our conclusion is these and these are going to be congruent. So it grew from this to this to these. With the subtraction one, your conclusion would be smaller than the given. So in this example, our given was that angle ANG and LNE is congruent. But when we got to our conclusion, we are going to say that A and L and G and E are congruent. Even though these two, this and that are giant angles, you shrank them to say that they're still congruent when you got to these and these. So you literally transform the conclusion that will become smaller than the given. That concludes the video. I hope this video has helped you understand addition and subtraction property in geometry. Thank you for watching Top Fingerlines Math Industry. Like and subscribe.